A knock on a California door in mid-2026. A man who believed he was operating under digital anonymity is placed in federal handcuffs. His handle was Yaya962, but to federal agents tracing IP addresses, email logs, and digital breadcrumbs across state lines, he had a real name, Joseph Alfredo Vasquez Dumer. Tonight, a major shift in the Nolan Wells case reveals how far federal authorities are willing to go when digital threats target key figures in an active death investigation. When 18-year-old Nolan Wells vanished during a July 4th outing off Horn Island, early reports suggested a tragic drowning. Now, the legal landscape surrounding the case has expanded exponentially. From federal courtrooms in California to grand jury proceedings in Mississippi, the investigation is no longer just about what happened on the water. It is about what happened in the digital space, inside autopsy rooms, and among dozens of potential witnesses. As defense attorneys issue public statements, independent pathologists raise critical questions, and state officials withhold key medical records from the family. What does this latest wave of federal action mean for the overall case? And how close are investigators to establishing the definitive record of that July 4th afternoon? The arrest of Joseph Alfredo Vasquez Dumer sent an immediate signal across the digital landscape. According to federal court documents and reporting from the Sun-Herald, Dumer allegedly transmitted direct messages containing explicit threats toward Judge Ashley Cole, a sitting official whose stepson, Warren Hudson, was present on Horn Island the day the teenager vanished. The messages, sent under an anonymous handle, detailed threats to the judge's office and family. However, federal cybercrime specialists traced the account through server logs, account registration details, and an associated email address. Under 18 U.S. Code Section 875, Dumer now faces federal charges for interstate transmission of threatening communications, a charge carrying potential penalties of up to 5 years in prison. Legal analysts note that this arrest carries implications far beyond a single online threat. It demonstrates the depth of digital forensic capabilities currently deployed around the case. Investigators are relying on the exact same categories of digital evidence: IP logs, location data, cell tower handoffs, and account extractions to evaluate every individual connected to the events of July 4th. Whether examining unauthorized device access or tracking cell phone movement across coastal waters, the digital trail remains an active pillar of the inquiry. And as federal involvement grows, the environment surrounding the main investigation continues to intensify. As federal agencies address online threats, legal representatives for those present on Horn Island have begun offering public interpretations of the physical timeline. In a national media appearance, attorney Russell Latino, representing boat owner Bart Edmonston, addressed public scrutiny surrounding the Marine Dispatch recordings, referring to enhanced social media clips as unreliable. However, separate from opinions on audio quality, the interview confirmed two critical elements now part of the public record. First, the attorney stated that more than 20 individuals were spread across the two primary vessels anchored near the island that afternoon. A group of 20 individuals represents 20 potential witnesses, 20 separate cell phones generating telemetry, and 20 sets of formal statements subject to review. Second, the defense attorney introduced a specific timeline claim that at least two witnesses reportedly saw the missing teenager alive on Horn Island approximately 90 minutes after the two boats departed the area. If verified by independent location data and official statements, a 90-minute gap would mean that when the primary vessels left the island at around 4:30 p.m., the 18-year-old remained behind. This detail, introduced into the public record by defense counsel, naturally prompts investigators to carefully cross-examine marine GPS logs against witness timelines, which leads to an essential question currently under review. If the missing teenager was observed on the island after the boats departed, who was present during those final 90 minutes? While witness timelines remain under debate, the physical medical evidence has encountered its own procedural hurdles. State medical examiners completed the official state autopsy within days of the teenager's recovery. However, state authorities have elected to hold back the detailed findings from the public and the family, citing the need to preserve evidence for an upcoming grand jury presentation. For the missing teenager's parents, this lack of direct access created immediate frustration, prompting them to retain independent legal representation and private forensic experts. Independent forensic pathologist Dr. Roger Mitchell conducted a secondary examination after the body was transported to Washington, D.C. Dr. Mitchell's preliminary findings documented a large area of deep tissue discoloration over the back of the skull, measuring approximately 12 by 8 inches, without accompanying skull fractures or surface skin tears. Crucially, Dr. Mitchell classified both the cause and manner of death as undetermined. In his formal report, the pathologist noted that he could not definitively rule out neck trauma, as key anterior neck structures, including the hyoid bone, larynx, and trachea, had been retained by state authorities during the initial exam. Without access to those specific anatomical features, the independent autopsy could neither confirm nor rule out certain forms of physical trauma. Legal representatives for the family have formally requested that Dr. Mitchell be granted access to state autopsy photographs and tissue logs, and that he be permitted to present findings alongside state examiners before the grand jury. Whether the grand jury will hear dual expert testimony or rely solely on state presentations remains a pivotal procedural decision. As procedural decisions await grand jury review, financial incentives surrounding the investigation have expanded significantly. Recently, the father of Warren Hudson, husband to Judge Ashley Cole, announced a $50,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction in the case. This contribution adds to existing pledges from national figures and civil rights organizations, pushing the total reward pool near $200,000. In investigative proceedings, substantial financial rewards often serve as a catalyst for individuals holding unverified details to step forward to law enforcement. Simultaneously, legal tension between the parties has escalated in the public arena. Defense counsel for Bart Edmonston signaled potential civil defamation claims against commentators and legal teams questioning their clients' actions. In response, attorney Ben Crump, representing the Wells family at a national convention in Nashville, dismissed the potential lawsuit as a distraction from the core objective, establishing an accurate, objective record of how the teenager died. Despite public statements from opposing legal teams, technical reviews continue across multiple disciplines. Audio engineers continue analyzing dispatch recordings, oceanographers are modeling tidal currents around Horn Island, and digital forensic specialists are preparing device extraction files under federal oversight. The legal maneuvers have not paused the ongoing scientific work. When evaluating a complex death investigation, single pieces of evidence rarely tell the complete story in isolation. The arrest of Joseph Alfredo Vasquez Dumar highlights the precision of modern federal cyber tracing when evaluating digital records. The defense statements regarding 20 witnesses and potential post-departure sightings establish specific parameters that digital tracking data must either confirm or refute. And the medical contrast between state autopsy secrecy and independent pathology findings underscores why grand jury proceedings carry such weight. Digital records can provide an independent source of information alongside witness recollections. Tower logs, geofence extractions, and spectral audio files do not alter over time. Ultimately, the synthesis of physical pathology, digital telemetry, and sworn grand jury testimony will determine whether early official classifications hold up under formal scrutiny. The audio remains open to interpretation. The witness timeline is still being examined, and the forensic findings continue to be reviewed. Until investigators reach a final conclusion, the Nolan Wells investigation remains an active case, one in which many key questions have yet to be answered. We'll continue following the publicly documented evidence as additional official information becomes available. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more updates. We'll see you in the next report.